Deep in the emerald embrace of an ancient jungle, hidden between the symphony of birds and the rustling of leaves, there existed a plant that held the fate of many warriors in its silent grasp. This was no ordinary flora. Its very essence was a mystery, a puzzle that generations of indigenous tribes attempted to solve. And yet it remained an enigma, claiming the lives of countless warriors, while leaving behind tales that echoed through time. This is the tale of the plant that made warriors sleep forever. Legend has it that long ago in the misty past, a lone warrior stumbled upon this peculiar plant during one of his hunts. Intrigued by its unusual appearance, he decided to investigate further. At the time, nobody knew the true nature of this plant. It seemed so harmless with its tall stature and silver-veined leaves that glistened in the sunlight, complemented by the ethereal beauty of its pale purple flowers. It looked like something sacred, something untouched by the darkness that plagued the world. And so the warrior, seeking to understand its purpose, decided to consume it. Little did he know that this seemingly innocent action would lead to consequences that would reverberate through the ages. From the moment he ate the plant, strange things began to happen. As if under a spell, he felt an overwhelming urge to find water, drank deeply from a nearby stream, and then lay down under the shade of a large tree. And as he gazed up at the leaves dancing in the wind, he fell into a deep slumber. But this was no ordinary sleep. As the hours turned into days, it became clear that the warrior was not waking up. At first, the villagers assumed that he had simply fallen into a death-like coma. But as days turned into weeks, their hope began to dwindle. There was no sign of life, no movement, no breath. He just lay there, eyes wide open, staring blankly into the sky, completely unresponsive to anything around him. The most perplexing aspect of his state was his breathing. It was steady and regular, as if he were still alive, yet not breathing. His chest rose and fell rhythmically, but when examined closely, no visible movement of his body was observed. It was as if the warrior's life force had been suspended in time, leaving behind a mere shell of his former self. And then there was his heart, continued to beat a steady drum against his ribs, a testament to the fact that life still flickered within him. But his mind was unreachable, lost somewhere in the vastness of the unknown. What happened to the warrior became a mystery that plagued the indigenous tribes for generations. Was he cursed? Had he stumbled upon some dark magic? Or was this the consequence of meddling with forces beyond human comprehension? The elders, with their deep connection to the land and its secrets, were the first to step forward. Their weathered faces etched with years of wisdom and contemplation, they gathered around the unresponsive warrior, attempting to decipher the signs, to unravel the enigma that surrounded his condition. Their rituals and incantations echoed through the jungle, blending with the sounds of the forest in a desperate attempt to reach the trapped soul of the warrior. Yet their efforts seemed futile. The warrior remained unchanged, his fate hanging in the balance between life and death. Days turned into nights, and still the warrior slept. The villagers, unable to bear the sight any longer, decided to leave him in the heart of the jungle, marking his resting place with stones and fallen leaves. They whispered their final farewells, hoping that the spirits of the forest would guide his soul back to him. But the warrior never woke. Instead, similar cases began to emerge, each adding another layer of complexity to the growing mystery. Villagers returning from hunts would stumble upon fellow villagers in a state of perpetual slumber. Farmers tilling their fields would come across laborers frozen in the act of planting. Fishermen casting their nets into the river would find fellow fishermen forever locked in the motion of casting. In each case, the individuals were found with empty stomachs, indicating that they had not consumed any food or drink that could have induced such a state. Most puzzling of all, there were no signs of struggle, no indication of foul play. It was as if these people had willingly surrendered themselves to sleep and never awoke. Fear gripped the community. Whispers of an evil curse spread like wildfire, tainting the air with dread and uncertainty. What was happening to them? Was this the wrath of an angry deity? Had they unknowingly trespassed against some ancient law of the land? Or were they caught in the crossfire of some malevolent entity's design? As panic threatened to engulf the village, the elders once again stepped forward, determined to uncover the truth. This time, they ventured deeper into the jungle, seeking the source of this strange affliction. Their quest led them to a secluded grove, a place untouched by human hands, where the very air seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy. And there, in the center of the grove, stood the plant that was to become infamous as the plant that made warriors sleep forever. Over the years, the elders pieced together the fragmented stories, tales of warriors and travelers who had dared to venture into the uncharted territories of the jungle. Some spoke of a mysterious plant with silver-veined leaves that had the power to induce a deep slumber from which one never awoke. Others recounted tales of entire villages vanishing without a trace, their existence erased as if they had never been. These stories, though chilling, provided the first clue in understanding the true nature of the plant. It wasn't merely a sleeping agent. It was a portal, a gateway to a realm from which there was no return. They named it Nendra's Breath, a tribute to the first man who touched it and never woke again. Generations came and went, each adding their own layer of myth and legend to the plant's lore. The tales became a part of the fabric of the indigenous cultures, serving as cautionary notes around evening fires, keeping the younger generations aware of the dangers lurking in the heart of the jungle. One of the most compelling narratives revolves around a tribe that discovered the plant's ability to render warriors motionless, effectively ending battles without bloodshed. Intrigued by this potential for effortless victory, they devised a plan. They crushed the plant's petals into a fine powder and surreptitiously sprinkled it into the water sources, frequented by their enemies. When the enemy troops drank from these tainted streams, they fell into a deep slumber, their bodies frozen in time, their weapons abandoned, their fates sealed. Entire camps were found untouched, a testament to the plant's potent power. Yet this victory was a hollow one. For even in triumph, the victors feared the plant's allure. Nobody returned from the other side of stillness, not one soul. They didn't die. Their bodies lived, but their minds drifted beyond reach, cursed by stillness. Driven by curiosity and perhaps a touch of madness, a young hunter once decided to test the plant's effect firsthand. He plucked a single petal, crushed it between his fingers, and inhaled its scent. Just a whiff. Moments later, he dropped his bow and sat beneath a tree, smiling gently, eyes open, soul gone. He breathed for days, never moved. Birds perched on his shoulder, ants crawled across his feet, but he never stirred again. Faced with this enigmatic phenomenon, the elders didn't resort to destroying the plant. Instead, they chose to respect it. They marked the grove with black stones, burned symbols into bark, and left it alone. Not from fear, but respect. They believed the plant wasn't evil. It was a guardian, a test, a gate. It only called those who carried too much rage, too much grief, too much thirst for power. For those burdened by war, it offered peace, eternal, dreamless. But one night, a wounded warrior crawled into the grove. He wasn't searching for death, he was escaping it. Bleeding, broken, lost, he collapsed beside the plant, but he didn't sleep. He healed. When he returned to the tribe, they were stunned. He had touched the untouchable. Why didn't it take him? His answer was quiet. I had no more war left in me. That changed everything. From that day, the plant wasn't just a warning. It became a mirror, a place only those truly at peace could survive. Warriors began visiting, not to conquer, but to see if they were ready to let go. Those who stayed. The jungle kept. Those who returned. They became elders, storytellers, guides. The plant still grows, unmoving, untouched. It sways in the wind, but never breaks. And deep in the jungle where no path is marked, its leaves whisper only one truth. Peace cannot be taken, must be chosen. And so the tale of Nendra's Breath serves as a reminder that sometimes the greatest battles are fought within our own souls, and the most significant victories are won not with weapons, but with peace. If this ancient tale stirred your spirit, opened a door in your thoughts, or made you question the weight you carry, then let the journey continue. Subscribe, like, and comment on the forgotten path where legends breathe through leaves, and every story hides a lesson waiting to bloom.